Hey Joy, it's been a few weeks since our JOYQuest, and I just wanted to pop on for a few minutes and say thank you and give you a quick update on how I'm doing. So much rebalancing still getting a lot of integrations. Everything in my life has changed. I'll give you a quick example. I'll tell you about the vision quest and how it went, and then I'll give you a quick example of something wacky that happened in my life just today. So, as you remember, I met you when I just messaged you about something random and totally unrelated. And you asked to set up a quick video meeting with me, and I thought it was so great, and I was so excited, and I didn't know anything really about what you did, but I was just so taken with you, and I just knew that working with you was the right thing for me, which is weird for me because I'm normally pretty cautious. I don't just jump right into stuff, but I just knew. I knew I wanted to work with you, even though I didn't know anything about what a JOYQuest was, what it entailed, what I was going to get out of it, how much it was going to cost. Didn't care. I just knew I would do it. So we did it. We did it the very next day after that first time that we met. And boy, did it totally blow my mind. I'll tell you, people ask me about this since then, and it's true. This is the coolest thing I've ever done. Next to giving birth to my kids, this is the coolest thing I've ever done. The most transformative, most insightful, just amazing. So we started with a 2 hour, maybe 2 hour plus Zoom session where we did a ton of integration, clearing up old crap. Crap that had been bugging me for years and years and years, my whole life, was finally gone. And then came like the big JOYQuest part, like the Easter egg hunt. And you said, okay, there is a rock in a tree that exists about a day's drive from you now. That rock and that tree exist on planet Earth for you and you only. Go find them. You're going to want to turn left and there's a waterfall. That was the extent of my instructions. And so I did. I just kind of knew that there was a particular direction I wanted to go. Of course, during the Zoom session, Joy, you introduced me to my spirit guides, a couple of my spirit guides. And part of the point of the JOYQuest was to use them and really trust them. There's no other way. I found the rock, I found the tree, and I found a bunch of other stuff. And there's no possible way I would have been able to do that had I not been divinely led by my very old yet brand new to me consciously spirit guides. So I just got in my car, I started driving in the direction that I felt like was the right way to go. And the weather was terrible. And I had to drive on this really windy road, and like there's a giant cliff to the ocean on one side and a vertical cliff on the other. It's a 2-lane road. I was not excited about the weather at all. But there was nowhere to go left. Like there just was nowhere. And so I kept asking my guides, like, is this it? Have I passed it? And they kept saying, nope, keep going. It's further ahead. So I kept going, and the weather just kept getting worse and worse and worse. It was really foggy, heavy rain, and for like a weird reason, lots of traffic on this particular dangerous road. And so I said, fine, you know what? If I got to keep going, you got to handle this weather because I don't like it. And immediately the clouds parted and like the rain totally stopped. And I could see much better. And I could keep going, and I went for a lot longer than I kind of thought that I was going to have to go. So I just kept checking in, and they kept saying, it's further, it's further, it's further. And then I came around a bend in the road, and I saw something ahead, and I immediately knew that I was headed in the right direction. And immediately after that thing that I saw was a left-hand turn. And I knew it was my left-hand turn. I went in there, and there were people there who just said, like, really, they were just so glad that I was there. They said, hey, we're so happy to have you here. And then they said something kind of weird when I left, or when I went and parked. I think it was like, have a magical day, which is fun, but weird. So I parked my car, looking for my rock and my tree. And I started heading toward where I thought was a waterfall, and then there was the rock and there was the tree. There's no mistaking it. The rock is an enormous, it's like a cliff feature, and it looks like a lion. Like it's totally unmistakable. It's got eyes, eyebrows, a nose, a mouth that's open, and it's huge. It's probably 100 feet tall. And then there was this giant sequoia that was kind of in front of it. And I stood there realizing, oh my gosh, I found it. Like, what do I do now? And I took a look around for a second, and it all of a sudden dawned on me what I was looking at. Horrible forest fires had raged through that area for several years in a row. And the backs of my tree and several trees around, they formed this little like round little meadow. And the backs of all of these trees were completely charred. But inside this little meadow, it was totally free of damage from the fire. And it was very obvious that my tree had protected this area, my space, all of the places that exist on Earth for me were protected from this fire when everything else had been burned and had obvious scarring damage from the fire. So I came to this place, I did the thing I was meant to do there, and after I did it, all of these birds came out of nowhere in the ferns and the clover that were around and took off, and all the birds started singing, and the forest just felt so alive. It was so magical and transformative. And since then, there was a long period, a couple weeks, of heavy integration that took place after that, really gaining a deep connection to my spirit guides, and even deeper connection to my unconscious mind, which is already pretty darn strong, and to my higher conscious mind too, which I also felt like was really strong. It's so much deeper now. And the thing that happened today that I know is a direct result from this work that I did with you, there was an interaction that I had with a person who just is one of those people that really gets a kick out of disagreeing, right? And just being ornery. And trying to make sure that people don't get what they want, just for no real reason. And I needed to go through this person in order to do something that was really, really important to me and other people. And this person was just pushing back on me, and again, for no real apparent reason. So I checked in with my spirit guides, and they were all like, yeah, this is an important thing for you to do. And so I said, fine. Make it happen. Go clear a path. Make it possible for me to do this. And all of a sudden, this person just they gave up. They just gave up. I showed up and I did the thing I needed to do, and this person thanked me when I left. It's completely divine. I couldn't have orchestrated it better had I done it consciously myself, which I definitely didn't. I just showed up. It was incredible. There's anybody who's thinking about doing a JOYQuest, I could not possibly recommend it more. I really couldn't. It's totally changed my life. And Joy, I'm really looking forward to continuing to work with you in the future. Thanks again. Love you. Bye.